Is hybridization mathematically proven? No, it is not mathematically proven. It's just a way to kind of visualize what the molecules are doing. That is, what's happening with the bonding. So yesterday we talked about that, and I gave you the sheet with the pictures on it, like this. And it says the concept of hybridization was introduced because it was the best explanation for the fact that all the CH bonds in molecules like methane were identical. So molecules like methane, right, were identical. So we're going to look at methane here, the last one. First one, Nate, write this down. This is carbon monoxide. Now your automobile produces carbon monoxide. Is that a problem? Yes, why is it a problem? Because plants don't like it. Plants like carbon dioxide, they don't like carbon monoxide. So what do you have on your automobile to convert it from carbon monoxide to carbon dioxide? No, it's in your muffler. Raise your hand. Hope? It's called the catalytic converter. Catalytic converter. Yeah, they steal it because it's made of platinum. The muffler can slow down the reaction because it is catalyzing the formation of CO2. So people will take off their muffler because it's slowing down the combustion reaction. Correct. You're naming these, so we've got one of them. Yes. Do I want to name the second one? Write it down. I'll type it's correct. So, bromic acid. Typically, it's going to be hydro because of the hydrogen. Hydro tells you it's a element.
All the languages up there, like isolated, they're just.
My dad says we're like.
What acid?
I don't see it.
Did you just say turkey? To me,
Excellent.
Results of these tests can lead to a positive identification of that substance. For example, oxygen is the only colorless, odorless gas that makes a glowing spark burst with light. Therefore, an odorless, colorless gas that causes glowing spark to burst into flame is identified as oxygen. Various combinations of positive and negative ions form for inorganic compounds. One of the ways to identify inorganic compounds is to determine the specific positive and negative ions of which they are composed. In this lab-aids kit, reactions that are used to identify some of the common metallic and non-metallic ions will be used to identify the ions of zinc, cadmium, antimony, barium, sulfide, sulfite, sulfate, and carbonate.
Okay, so raise your hand 5 points. Tell me what an inorganic compound is.
This is a compound that doesn't contain, was it carbon?
Right, that is correct. So if you go and you study chemistry in college and you study organic chemistry, you just go look at carbons, carbon-based chemistry. Now, procedure, we'll read this step 1 here, this opening part, then we'll head on over there. Who wants to read that first 2 paragraphs there on the procedure? All right, let's go with Adam.
Cubby's unprofessional.
A well plate there. No, Cubby's professional, but this is just called a well plate. So if you go somewhere else and they ask you for the well plate, you'll know it was a well plate. Looks like it's some reaction going on there, some bubbling.
It stinks.
So you took my pencil. Yeah.
Very good. That would be tetra. You missed a little A there. That's fine. Good job, Rain. You actually have that right. My fault. That was a mistake on my part. It's a tetroxide. Good job. Write it next to the letter there over there, so people can be like, okay. Excellent. Bromic acid.
Identified by the fact that when reacted with other substances, they form precipitates of other certain color or form gases, which have distinct properties. Observe carefully the changes that occur that reveal the presence of each of the ions tested. After determining the results of the known substances, you will repeat some of these tests to determine ions contained in unknown substances.
Excellent. So, what we're doing here, what you should notice, concerns the water chemistry that's going to happen today. These reactions will be done in water because the water separates the ions and allows new products to form. So we're going to head on over there. If you have questions, we're not going to read through each step because if we did, by the time we got to the sixth one, you would understand the first one. So we're just going to go step by step over there. How many drops you add in there, Sean? Good job. Those goggles down there, Simon. Care about your eyesight. They don't want you to go blind.
Shove it in there a little bit.
Right there. Nitrogen. So it's dinitrogen. Well, no, because the second one's only going to change its suffix. The first one will just be dinitrogen, like dihydrogen. And then actually it'd be tetra, it's just O, tetraoxide. I thought there was an A there like the last period. I had to look it up to make sure. So, tetraoxide. Excellent. So we can do B. Now you're close. You have hydrogen and bromide, but it's actually going to be hydrobromic. So if you look on the list that we gave you for the naming, you'll see that what you wrote up there is not a possibility. These are the possible names, so it's kind of a matching thing. So you see.
Hydrobromic acid.
Yep. The hydro tells you what? What does the hydro tell you? What does hydro tell you? It is an element. Like hydrochloric acid, it means it's going to be an element of chlorine, HCl, hydro. Anytime you see hydro with a nonmetal like hydroiodic, it would be hydrogen and the iodine. Hydrofluoric, H and the F. Nice job, Michaela.
Chemical tests performed can help determine distinctive properties typical of a certain substance. Results of these tests can lead to a positive identification of that substance. For example, oxygen is the only colorless, odorless gas that makes a glowing splint burst into
Horrible.
I know. Okay, so all I can find is zinc nitrate.
You find the zinc
That's
nitrate?
what you need. That's what you need.
It says zinc sulfide.
That's what it creates.
Yeah, that's what it creates. Now we don't have the lead acetate because we don't want you touching that and putting it in your mouth.
Your cameraman.
I think you're good? Yeah.
Horrible.
Oh my goodness. Now on the back you'll see the purpose. There are 4 unknowns. So in the back you're trying to identify the 4 unknowns. Will you get them all today? I don't know. They're worth 5 points each, so each one you get right, you get 5 points. Now on the front here it says, procedure. Unknown samples of solutions containing ions to be identified will be used in this laboratory activity. Ions will be identified by the fact that when reacted with other substances they form precipitates of certain color or form gases. So you're going to be able to see a color or a gas, which is how you're going to identify these unknowns. So we've done labs like this before, but now they're actually wanting you to name them and identify them. And then lastly it says, observe carefully the changes that occur that reveal the presence of each of the ions tested. After determining the results with known substances, you will repeat some of these tests to determine ions contained in unknown substances. Now, the first one, it says ions of zinc. You're going to go in there and you're going to try to find the zinc nitrate. I'm not going to go through all 6 of these, but by the time I got to the 6th one, you'd have forgot the first one. So you're going to go in there, you're going to find the zinc nitrate. Just follow the directions, underline it as you're going along. So you're, measure twice, cut once. Right, clear? So, no, last thing. You gave me sulfite. You don't have it. Easy. Let's go.
Come back tomorrow.
Most likely we'll finish it tomorrow. It takes a little bit.
But don't we have a quiz tomorrow?
We'll take the quiz and come over here. Quiz will take maybe 30 minutes. Quiz.
30 days.
Right here.
Would you like me to do the other two as well?
That is correct. So on your homework, you can check yourself right now.